Have you ever faced someone who talks louder, interrupts, and pushes harder just to feel like they're winning? You know they're not right, but somehow their noise overshadows your reason. The truth is, you don't need to shout or insult to silence them. Real power comes from calm, precise words that shift the entire conversation. Today, I'll share 5 smart responses that do exactly that. Simple, elegant, and rooted in self-control. These phrases can stop aggression, protect your dignity, and remind others that true respect is earned through character, not volume. And trust me, number 3 has the potential to disarm even the most manipulative person you'll ever meet. When someone shouts, they believe volume equals truth. They think authority comes from who speaks the loudest, not who makes the most sense. But the moment you respond calmly with, "I don't need to raise my voice to be right," the entire energy shifts. Instead of being dragged into their chaos, you set a higher standard. You show that logic, not noise, decides the outcome. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, once said, "He who cannot control his tongue will be a slave to his emotions." By staying calm, you prove that you are in control, not just of the situation, but of yourself. And in that control lies real power. Imagine this in a meeting where a colleague raises their voice, expecting you to react the same way. You breathe, you pause, and you calmly say the phrase. Suddenly, the room doesn't see a fight. They see who truly leads. Because calm in the storm is not weakness, it is strength. There are times when people don't just argue, they attack. Sarcasm, mockery, and contempt become their weapons. The natural instinct is to fight back, but that only keeps you trapped in their game. Instead, you hold up a mirror. By saying, "The way you speak says more about you than it does about me," you make them face their own behavior without insults, without counterattacks. It's a phrase that strips their power because you refuse to carry their poison. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In that moment, you show that their disrespect belongs to them, not to you. And often, when people hear their tone reflected back at them, they fall silent. Not because you silence them with aggression, but because you force them to confront themselves. This response also teaches a hidden lesson. You don't have to match someone's energy. You define your own. And when you stand on that ground, you become untouchable. Some conversations aren't conversations at all. They're battles disguised as dialogue. The other person interrupts, dismisses, and pushes harder, leaving you with 2 choices: fight or surrender. But there's a third option: refuse the terms. By calmly saying, "Let's talk when we can do it respectfully," you're not walking away from the issue. You're setting boundaries. You're declaring that respect is the minimum price for your attention. Epictetus taught, "You cannot control what others do, but you can control what you accept." And this response is exactly that. You're telling the other person, "I will not accept a conversation without dignity." Picture this in a heated debate with someone who refuses to listen. Instead of shouting back, you establish the rule. You don't lower yourself to their level. You raise the standard. And often, silence follows. Because those who can't meet respect lose the privilege of your time. There comes a point when speaking further is useless. The other person doesn't want to understand. They just want to win. And at that point, the most powerful thing you can do is end the game. "I'd prefer not to continue this conversation" is not surrender. It's mastery. It's the refusal to waste your energy where it's not valued. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed." Walking away from a toxic argument is not weakness, it's wisdom, because your peace is worth more than having the last word. Imagine you're talking with someone who keeps provoking you, throwing insult after insult. Instead of losing your temper, you simply say the phrase, then step away. In that moment, you protect your dignity, your time, and your focus. You remind them that your silence is not defeat, it's power. Not every disagreement is toxic. Sometimes it's family, friends, or co-workers who push their views, convinced they know what's best for you. They may not mean harm, but they cross your boundaries all the same. This is where you need a response that acknowledges them without surrendering your ground. That's your opinion, and I respect it, but I don't share it. It's simple, respectful, and firm. You're not dismissing their view, but you're reaffirming your own. And this subtle clarity often ends the argument because there's nothing left to attack. Seneca once said, To be a slave to the opinion of others is the worst of all prisons. With this response, you refuse that prison. You declare independence of thought, and that independence earns respect. Over time, people realize they cannot pressure or manipulate you. And strangely enough, when they stop trying, they begin to respect you even more. So now you have 5 responses that do more than silence others. They elevate you. They protect your dignity. They define your boundaries. And they remind people that strength is not found in volume, but in clarity and control. Let's quickly recap. 1. I don't need to raise my voice to be right. 2. The way you speak says more about you than it does about me. 3. Let's talk when we can do it respectfully. 4. I'd prefer not to continue this conversation. 5. That's your opinion, and I respect it, but I don't share it. Use these not as weapons, but as shields. They are not about domination, but about presence. Because when you speak calmly, firmly, and with self-respect, the world listens, even your harshest critics. If you found these responses helpful, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. And I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments which of these 5 responses you're going to use first. Remember, respect isn't demanded through force. It's inspired through character.